When the destroyers came for us, we attacked. Never had we been defeated. They were like the others, strange, hideous, resisting, fighting. Only these were not like the others. They did not die. We made our first retreat. We could forego one system. We left it to the destroyers and went elsewhere. But they followed. They hunted us. They followed us when we retreated, discovered where we lived. For a long time we did not know why they chased us. They were no ordinary enemy. They did not seek our territory, our technology, our resources. Now we know our crime was sin.
Welcome to part 6.
Welcome to part 6 of our Freespace overview.
Yes. You just saw another Ancients cutscene. Wasn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it was actually not bad. They're normal. Let's show some planets, some stars, and talk to you about how we basically ruined ourselves.
It's that cutscene pretty much sums up what we know about the Shivans at this point. They want to fight us, and they want to fight us.
Oh, and they don't lose.
They don't
usually.
Lose. Yeah, pretty much all we know right now. Isn't that lovely?
Also interesting about that is that it tells you that the Shivans aren't interested in resources. They're not interested in anything. They're just killing people.
Just killing people because they can.
The interesting bit, though, is at the end, in my opinion, is at the end where the ancients say, "Now we know our sin," and what they're talking about there is they were the one originally going out and subduing and conquering, and when the Shivans came for them, when they wouldn't stop attacking, when they wouldn't stop fighting back, they realized what they had done wrong. Everything that they had conquered up to that point, they kind of realized right there that they were their own downfall in the end.
But how does that parallel to the Terrans?
Only these were not like the others.
Is it our war with the Vesudans? Is that why they're fighting us? Because they see us and the Vesudans fighting each other, and now they see us as violent and they want to destroy us? Are they just fighting us because they can? Are they fighting us because they're hostile towards any other species? We don't know.
No, we really don't know. With that cutscene, you kind of get that idea, but you're not really sure if they're just fighting because they don't like the destruction as a whole.
Maybe they like destruction for all we know. Maybe yep, we get off on destruction.
We really don't know.
And with that, let's move on to the next mission, Aftermath.
And as you can see, going to a mission briefing here, well, more like a status update and overall. Turned out, you capturing the Taranis didn't really do much.
Yep, they just continued their idea of, well, if they're going to take it, we're going to destroy it. And they came and bum-rushed Tombaugh Station with a giant destroyer. Isn't that great?
And I'm just going to point out here, this thing is giant, really, really big.
Oh yeah, also apparently it has a shield system that we cannot penetrate. How they managed to shield something that gigantic, I have no idea.
Yeah, still don't know.
Still don't know, even to this day. Yeah. In the year 2013, in their past. And at this point, we're kind of worried because this thing could very easily just tear through our frontline defenses. And at this point, because all communications have ended in violence, we really don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah. At this point, it's kind of like fight or die at this point.
At this point, the Shivans have taken Beta Cygni, Beetlejuice, Ross 128, IKEA, and Regulus.
Yeah, so they've pretty much taken everything. Because you know how in the beginning of the game you were fighting against the Vesudans on the front lines, and those are the systems you were kind of fighting, and the Shivans just came in and took them all from everyone.
Yeah, it's just, there was no competition. Like, they're just gone. They're theirs. And the thing is, something notable is that they're not even taking the planets in those systems. They're just going in and they're destroying all opposition they see. They don't care about the planets at all.
As you can see here, we get new technology. The flail, which, I'm going to be honest, I really hate the flail.
It uses kinetic energy.
which I would not have a problem with, except for it has a tendency to push your targets away, but it's pretty awful, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's kind of impractical for actual dogfighting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really don't like it.
But we do get the interceptor.
Yes, which is one of my favorite missiles in Freespace 1, and it's one of my favorites mainly because it's perfect for dogfighting, unlike the flail.
Yeah. It actually uses a Vasudan engine combined with a Terran warhead to create, at this point, the most effective missile we have yet.
And we jump right into a mission briefing about the aftermath of Tomba. So, basically you're escorting refugees and scientists, basically anyone who didn't get killed by the Lucifer, which, one thing I'd like to point out about the Lucifer, that name, Lucifer. Yeah, you kind of, if there was any way to make it clear that this was the bad giant thing that you need to kill, it's that name.
We here at Command have decided to call it the Lucifer. Just in case you guys didn't realize it's the enemy.
Yeah. Especially since it's the biggest thing we've ever seen.
Yeah. 3 wings will be involved in this mission. Alpha will be in charge, meaning the player, and he will escort the transports to a checkpoint, which at that point the guard will be taken over by the PBD Pinnacle and a fighter wing.
I actually go into my loadout, but I really don't change anything because I like the Interceptors and the Avengers the best you have, so I jump right into the mission after that.
This mission begins and there's a bit of chatter between the pilots about Tomba and a bunch of things related to it and how they can't believe what happened and how it's just in wreckage. And actually also, apparently, based upon the mission briefing, the wreckage from Tomba Station is still falling from the sky in Ribos.
Yeah, so...
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they chewed it up real good.
Yeah.
So, right here, as you can see, we just kind of sit here waiting for...
There's a bit of a lull before you get to the actual fighting here.
Yeah, there's a little bit. You just sit here for a bit. It's not really... It's longer when you're talking about it, shorter when you're actually doing it, because in a lot of this, I spent my time ordering them to protect and making sure, keeping an eye on all the transports, seeing all what was here, because there are actually other transports other than Iota here.
Yeah, it's just they kind of make Iota priority in the briefing.
And actually, in a little bit, the Nelson comes in, which the Nelson stops existing pretty quickly after this, and I try to help it, but I only managed to splash one here, and after that, the Shivans pretty much just leave.
Now, what I'm curious about is, even though I know it's really not possible to save the Nelson, is what if you were cheating and just destroyed the Shivans the moment they went after the Nelson? It's like, would it just sit there?
I think what would happen is it would just sit there because you're supposed to.
Because I'm not aware of any coding that would make it follow you afterwards. Because it really should not be possible unless you're cheating.
Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, I actually did destroy a fighter as I was leaving, so just to put that out there, it is possible to destroy a fighter as it's heading into subspace.
Notice how there was an explosion in subspace, though. I'm not sure if that fighter was going to Beta Cygni or Ribos, but explosion in subspace. That'll be more relevant later.
Yeah. You can destroy things, so it is made pretty clear that you can destroy things at least when they're partially in subspace.
Yeah. But there is a point of no return where it's like, it's gone, you can't hit it anymore.
Yeah.
Not like you can shoot into the portal, technically. They have to still be outside of subspace. At least a little bit.
Yeah, I make sure to stay close to Iota until enemies come in, because I like to be the guy going out and intercepting and keep everyone else a bit closer to the transports, because I'm going to be honest, the computer, while it's not completely stupid, it's dumb. They're dumb enough to get the transports damaged if you do not tell them to explicitly protect the transport. You don't tell them to stay close to it.
And if they aren't, technically you're the commanding officer, so you kind of get reprimanded for it. So,
yeah.
Probably a good idea to order them around a lot in this mission.
Yeah, I try to keep them in line. Actually, the interesting thing is you can see some Vasudans here.
Yes, you can.
And they're friendly, which is a pleasant surprise.
They don't go rogue suddenly.
Yeah.
It's like, turns out they were Hammer of Light. Well, yeah, this mission not so much.
Yeah, in this mission you can get... Actually, this mission is one of the really first ones that I really, in my opinion, that you really see the teamwork kind of coming together, especially with the checkpoint being the pinnacle.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting because no one ever makes a thing out of the fact that the Terrans and Bassoons are working together. It's kind of like they're just kind of like they're not even making a thing out of it. It's not brought up. They just do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, I think at this point everyone's a bit scared.
Oh yeah, and some noob just hate you.
Yeah, I don't know why. There is some ramming that is involved in the game.
But yeah, you're saying people were scared.
I think they didn't really touch on it too much because it seems like people were both the Terrans and Bassoons were scared, and when you're scared, you'll kind of do things that even if you're not completely comfortable with it, you don't really have a choice. Especially if you see what happened to Tamba, they've taken every single system, and pretty much every single system in between here and Antares, and really, you have to be a bit freaked out by that because no other militaries you've seen could really do that.
And in that short a period of time, it was in between missions too.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the thing. Like, it was in between missions. You were in Ribos not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at the beginning of the game, you're in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, you were in Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is gone, man.
Yeah,
you don't even think about going back there.
Yeah, because it's all Sheevan controlled. Ross 128, IKEA, all those places gone. And after quite a bit of fighting, the Pinnacle comes in a bit late.
Yeah, according to the Pinnacle was apparently assisting the escort of freighters, and they were ambushed by the Hammer of Light.
Yeah,
the Hammer of Light just love seeing Sheevans destroy things. It's like their pastime.
Yeah, the Hammer of Light actually becomes a bit of a nuisance because the problem with the Hammer of Light is that they're Bassoons too. So there's a bit of an iffy kind of area where I couldn't imagine being Bassoon, having to fight basically your brethren.
Yeah, because you get this from talking to the Bassoons a bit, like just the way they speak in the missions. For them, honor is like a really big deal, and like I think for them, like having to kill another Bassoon would be like I don't think it'd be easy for them.
Yeah, I don't. It's a bit of a thing. It's kind of like if you had to go out and kill one of your best friends. I mean,
yeah.
It's something that you don't want to do. But the Hammer of Light is a pretty big nuisance because they're working for the Sheevans essentially, and as you can see in another mission,
indirectly, but yes.
As you can see in another mission, the Sheevans don't even completely work with them.
It's like, yeah, you're helping us, but we don't really care that you're helping us.
Yeah, they actually directly attack Hammer of Light forces at times. So
yeah.
It's kind of interesting how that works.
It's like I always you gotta wonder. It's like, what do the Hammer of Light do when they hear about Sheevans destroying their convoys or like their installation? It's like, sir, the Sheevans destroyed our installations. Sounds great. I know it sounds a horrible joke to make, but thinking about it, I can't help but feel that's what they would say.
I mean, the Hammer of Light tend to be somewhat pseudo-religious. I mean, it's based on something that were in their ancient texts, and it's somewhat implied that the Bassoons were around when the ancients were, and they were one of the subjugated races, perhaps.
Which would actually be a very interesting prospect. Very interesting.
There actually is, in fact, a campaign based around that idea.
Yeah. Maybe Freespace 3 will talk about that. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Secret Project Y, we're still waiting, Volition.
Extremely optimistic.
Yeah. Okay, with that, we jump out and we get to the debriefing. And really, there's not much to say about the debriefing. They say, congratulations on getting the transports there, and you're done.
Here you actually jump straight into a new mission briefing, which is not too much of a surprise, but what is a surprise is that it's a red alert. It's a scramble mission.
Yeah. The Asimov, which is working on Project Tsunami, is under attack, and this is a really big problem because not only will this bomb become more important later, but also, if this thing's destroyed, we lose all of our research, and we could potentially have a blast of like 5 kilometers in length.
Yeah, it's a big blast, and I was playing through it a long time ago, and I actually was destroyed by the blast because I let the station get destroyed. I actually was playing on a higher difficulty at the time, and I was being a bit nonchalant, let the station get destroyed.
Yeah.
But as you can see, you jump into the mission with a damaged fighter. You still have an old ML16 laser, some MX50, so basically out-of-date tech.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, you have an Avenger, so you're not defenseless, but that MX50, man. That MX50.
It actually becomes a problem in this mission because
it's nice when you're trying to intercept fighters to have an interceptor.
Yeah.
Just saying. But now we're flying in an Apollo, and we have MX50.
And I would like to point out, the technology changes a lot between the missions before and this mission. And you can feel, when you're actually doing this mission, you can feel how out of date this ship and the weapons are.
It really does drive home the point of how, not only how much the Shivans made our technology better, but also just how much of our own ingenuity where we had made a jump forward. Not just through advancements, but also like when you became higher in command and they started giving you more access to technology as well.
Yeah, because quite frankly, a starting speed of 60 is just extremely slow. I mean, that is really not much faster than the Athena bombers that you got when you were disabling Taranis.
Oh, that's harsh, man. But it's not even like you're not even being honest. It's just like, geez, you're right.
I mean, it's more maneuverable. I'll give it that. But it's essentially an Athena bomber that can't carry the same payload.
Yeah. Like at this point in a dogfight, I really would not want to be an Apollo. I'm just saying.
It's not my first choice. Not that you really have that many choices, but in this case,
generally speaking, you're probably going to choose a Valkyrie. And that's just me, but I found myself choosing a Valkyrie most often for most missions.
Yeah, until you get later in the game and you get a few more fighters.
Yeah.
So you kill some fighters, and then eventually they say, we're just going to evacuate the Asimov, take the research, take the project, and go.
And so they evacuate using the GTD spawner, and you leave and back into subspace, and you get a medal which for some reason doesn't show up here.
I think that might be a problem with the Freespace port, but I'm not sure. I think it is, but
point is, you get a medal here. It's the Conspicuous Gallantry medal. So, just so you know, for some reason it's not showing up here, I'll put it up on screen so you can see it.
okay.
Yeah. And with that, we will move on to the next part, and we will see you there, my friends.